सामने क्रम स्काई न्यूज बरतानवी ऐसा नशरियाती इदारा है जिसके जर्नलिस्ट और एंकर्स के सामने बड़े बड़ों के पसीने छूट जाते हैं। पाकिस्तान समेत दुनिया भर के कई हुक्मरानों को वो अपने सख्त सवालात में फंसाते नजर आते हैं, लेकिन गुज़श्ता रोज पाकिस्तान के साबिक वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान ने स्काई न्यूज को एक दबंग इंटरव्यू दिया। स्काई न्यूज के एंकर ने जहां इमरान खान से सख्त सवालात पूछे, वहीं इमरान खान ने उन सब सवालात का मुदल्लल और जबरदस्त किस्म का जवाब दिया। एंकर ने इमरान खान को गुस्सा दिलाने के लिए उनके रशिया के विजिट का मामला छेड़ा, जिस पर इमरान खान ने बड़ा जबरदस्त तरीके से जवाब देकर उस एंकर की बोलती बंद की। इमरान खान का कहना था कि मसला ही रशिया के विजिट से शुरू हुआ। अमेरिका यह चाहता था कि मैं रशिया ना जाऊं, लेकिन ये पाकिस्तान की रियासत का मामला था और रियासत पाकिस्तान के फैसले के बाद तमाम स्टेक होल्डर से मुशावरत के बाद मैं रशिया गया। एंकर ने सवाल पूछा कि जब आपकी पुतिन से मुलाकात होनी थी तो उसी रात यूक्रेन पर उसने हमले का ऐलान किया, क्या आप इस बारे में जानते थे? जिस पर इमरान खान का कहना था कि दुनिया में कोई नहीं जानता कि पुतिन के जहन में क्या चल रहा है। जब मैं वहां गया तो मुझे ये इल्म हुआ कि पुतिन यूक्रेन के दौरे पर जा रहे हैं और इन दो ममालिक के आपस में मुज़ाकरात तय हैं। लेकिन फिर अचानक हिकमत अमली तब्दील हुई और रशिया ने यूक्रेन पर हमला कर दिया। एंकर ने इसके बाद चाइना और रशिया दोनों के मामले में पाकिस्तान के स्टांस को जानने की कोशिश की और ये कहता नजर आया कि चाइना और रशिया अपने लोगों पर जुल्म कर रहे हैं। आप इस बारे में क्या राय रखते हैं? जिस पर इमरान खान ने कहा कि किसी भी मुल्क में जब मजलूम पर हमला हो या उस पर जुल्म सितम किया जाए तो मैं हर एक जगह उसके खिलाफ हूं। और फिर इमरान खान ने खुद ही कश्मीर का जिक्र छेड़ दिया और ये कहा कि दुनिया भर के लोग कश्मीर के बारे में बात नहीं करते क्योंकि भारत उनका इलाह है और कश्मीरियों पर जुल्म सितम पर उन्होंने आंखें बंद कर रखी हैं, जबकि उन्हें वो मुल्क नजर आते हैं जो उनके मुखालिफ हैं, जैसे रशिया और चाइना वगैरह। इमरान खान के इस मुदल्लल और जबरदस्त जवाब के बाद एंकर ने इमरान खान का शुक्रिया अदा किया और उनकी तारीफ किए बगैर ना रह सका। आइए आपको वो क्लिप सुनाते हैं जिसमें इमरान खान ने गोरे एंकर की बोलती बंद की और इस सारे मामले पर पाकिस्तान का और अपना मौक़िफ़ वाज़े किया।
Mark, in that cipher, Donald Rue is asking our ambassador that the Prime Minister Imran Khan was solely responsible for his decision to tour Russia. Now, the ambassador kept trying to explain to him that this was a tour which was planned long way back, long way before Ukraine. Secondly, all stakeholders, the Foreign Office, the military establishment, we were all on one page because the military wanted hardware. We wanted to buy gas because we got depleting gas reserves. We wanted to, and this was 6 years ago, this contract was being negotiated. And we wanted to buy wheat from Russia. So
the problem, but let me just get coming. The problem is that on the very day that Putin invaded Ukraine, you shook hands with him in the Kremlin. That suggests, if you know, at least that you endorse what he's doing in Ukraine.
Mark, how the hell was I supposed to know that the day I landed in Moscow, Putin was going to go into Ukraine?
But remember, you didn't need to go ahead with the meeting.
Even then, from Moscow. So hold on, Mark. My statement as Moscow was, I have never believed in military solutions. So never did I endorse that. Ours was a totally bilateral meeting, and it was planned long before. So point I'm trying to make is that we didn't realize that when I would reach there that Putin would go into Ukraine. How was I supposed to know? And how could you be punished for that?
But do you accept?
This is the big thing. How could you have?
But do you accept that what Russia is doing is an illegal act of aggression? Do you condemn what Russia is doing?
Mark, I am against all military operations. I was against Iraq war. I was against US going to Afghanistan consistently. I'm against military solutions in Ukraine to solve problems. But point I'm trying to make is that to hold me responsible, and in this cipher, it was only me being held responsible, while our ambassador was telling us that this was a long before the store was planned. The purpose of going there were bilateral things. We had nothing to do with.
But
no,
even
no
so,
anything about
the problem
Ukraine or
is,
Russians
but
foreign
the
policy.
problem is that the ties you have with Russia and China suggests that you went ahead with that meeting, that human rights are secondary to trade for you. Russia is waging a war on its neighbor, killing civilians. China has a terrible record on human rights, repressing the Uyghurs and other minorities.
Mark, I was elected by 220 million people of Pakistan to serve them. My number one priority is there are 50 million Pakistanis below the poverty line. I was not elected for them to correct all the wrongs that are going on in the world. My responsibility was my country. And so all my relationships, whether it was with China, with the United States, with Russia, were for the benefit of our own people. Listen, in Kashmir, which is a dispute between Pakistan and India, India has violated all United Nations resolutions on Kashmir. They've illegally taken away the right of the Kashmiri people and basically got rid of the statehood. Now, did anyone speak against it? There are atrocities going on in Kashmir. 100,000 people in Kashmiris have died. Has anyone condemned India for that? No, because India is an ally. Allow us to be neutral too so that we can look after our own people.
What about Afghanistan? Are you pleased to see the Taliban back in control in Afghanistan? Were you pleased to see the West defeated?
Mark, Afghanistan there was never going to be a military solution. Anyone who knows the history of Afghanistan, and the British above all, have experienced 3 wars in Afghanistan. The 3 times they've gone into Afghanistan in the 19th century, twice in 19th and once in the 20th century. There was never going to be a military solution. People like us who kept saying that this is not, you will not solve Afghanistan problem by bombing them or sending your military, we were called pro-Taliban. People like us were always talking about how would there be people in